People, deluded, I'm back again. A quick one now, following obviously beating Manchester City. I just want to speak about a couple of players. Now, everybody, like I've said, big up to everybody. Arteta's tactics were spot on. Big up to his coaching staff and him for preparing all week. Ultimately, big up the players because we're quick to get at them. We're quick to talk about Luis when he's making these mistakes and these red cards. Same energy when he's playing well. That's what I believe anyways. I don't think Luis is good enough to move forward with long-term, first choice. But game-by-game basis, you've got to give credit where it's due. And Luis was superb. He reacted well. We need, Luis might not be everyone's cup of tea, but in terms of experience, been around the block, guys like him, especially being in defence as well, with what the defence were going to experience in that game, with the quality players City have, he needed to stand up to be counted, and he was colossal in the air, won everything, should have even had an assist if Aubameyang scored. Lovely, involved in the build-up to the goal, as was bare players, Lacazette's role is underrated, someone I actually want to speak about today. Big up to everyone. First and foremost, I want to speak about Xhaka now. Away from Xhaka, I do think in England we fail to really hold midfielders that I don't think we really, I do think understand it, so I don't know how to really word it, but I do think in England we have an issue with appreciating midfielders or appreciating what midfield can offer, midfielders can offer beyond goals and assists. It does feel like people don't rate, man that are not giving goals and assists. I do believe you fundamentally need that in midfield, especially with today's game. I don't think we have enough goals in midfield. And I don't think Xhaka is perfect. I don't think he's world-class, any of these things. I think he's definitely a good player. Definitely didn't deserve a lot of criticism. For me, I've always backed him. I really like Xhaka. The only time I've wanted him to leave this club is obviously when that happened. And for me, I can't speak for anybody else. For me, why I wanted him to leave is because I felt it was going to, at the time, I felt it was going to be, you didn't want him to come back into it and then it becomes the Xhaka versus the fans every game sort of thing, and I did feel he let down his teammates. The fans were giving it to him, he was giving it to the fans. Neither one covered themselves in glory, but I think he let down his teammates because they're the ones playing, trying to win the 3 points at that time, and I don't think that's how captain goes on. And he wanted to clearly leave, but since that, bygones speak bygones. He's been doing well. Credit to Arteta because, you've got to find systems that can hide deficiencies in your player. You're not really seeing Xhaka get caught out for his lack of mobility. He's not getting caught high up the field. He's not really flying into tackles and things. So the system has helped. I think Xhaka has showed good mentality to turn it around. Damn right, he's just playing well, He's playing good passes. He's winning the ball in midfield. I see him constantly talking. He's making last-ditch tackles and stuff like that. He's a good performer, and it's similar to Aubameyang. How are these men never? Well, he has had injuries, but he's always fit. He can't be out of the team at the moment, and I feel big up to Granit Xhaka because he's been controlling. Like I said, is he good enough to be a top to help us get top 4? I think he can contribute. Me personally, I think we need dynamism, and I think Xhaka would be in my team a rotation option. But he's bossing it, and I feel Xhaka deserves his plaudits. Like I keep saying, it sounds like a broken record. No disrespect to these players, but when Martinez makes them good saves like he did yesterday, when Aubameyang, your star striker, scores 2 goals, when Pepe, your 70-odd million man, plays a part in a couple of the goals as well, Luis had a stormer as well, there are, he's not going to get the plaudits, or there's players that are overshadowing his game, but I felt Xhaka played very well and has been playing very well since the restart. You have to play it fairly, and he's showing why Arteta was right to back him and keep faith in him, and why it firmly is Xhaka and somebody else. There's only one spot right now in midfield, if we're not going with a 3-man midfield or something like that, because it's Xhaka and who else? Ceballos has made that his own. Before it was Torreira, at a point it's been Guendouzi. Maitland-Niles is still trying to scheme for that. He's got his chance at fullback and did well, but it's Xhaka and someone, and probably will bring in a midfielder, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to also big up Lacazette as well. Listen, Lacazette, generally this season, it's not been a good season for him. I've always said he's not good enough to score 20 league goals in the sense that he hasn't shown it in the Prem. He's good. He's got the talent to score it, but for one reason or not, he's not that. So how much can you be the top guy? That being said, I do think people underrate the contributions he gives us. He really is a big game player. Yesterday, he's up for it. Tackling, clearing the ball, helping us clear our lines, holding up the ball and relieving pressure. Go and watch the goal again, the first one, everyone was involved. The whole team, was a lovely team movement, but Lacazette's playmaking in that will be lost in the grand scheme of things. I really like Lacazette. He's got his mojo back. He's got his swagger back. Obviously, he's had a turbulent season. Injuries, there's the wanting to be called up to France. Injuries, losing his place to Eddie. There's been a lot of other things that have contributed, but he's got that swagger back, that mojo back, that belief in him. He's back to being that Lacazette sort of thing, and who knows, it might be the right decision to give him a new deal, it might be the wrong, but he's doing his best to remind everybody what Lacazette is on and who he is, and You know, 2 games in a row, he helped decide the game against Liverpool. In his own way, everybody helped decide the game against City, and he stood up to be counted. So I really liked what I saw from Lacazette. I like how Lacazette also pressed. Clearly, tactically, Lacazette was told for me to stay on Gundogan, and he did that superbly, you know. And it's obviously Lacazette probably isn't going to play too many 90-minute games under Arteta, purely because what Arteta demands from his strikers, Eddie the same. It's like it's a lot of work that they've got to get through, and you know, and it seems like the minute they tire, you know, next man will come on, or if it's not them, it's Joe that will come on and do that pressing stuff. But Lacazette did very well, man. Arteta stuck by him and backed him. Obviously, took him out of the team when he needed to be taken out of the team. But it is what it is in that regards, man. I think Lacazette showed his way, man. And he showed in his way why he's a central figure at times, and why it showed why it's a squad game. We need man to stand up to be counted, and he's someone that very well could be sold next season, someone that people want to sell, but he's doing his best to complicate things. Then you've got Pepe. Now, Pepe has not been a flop. If Pepe was signed for 30-40 million, people would say he's been a calm addition, because he is right now a 30-40 million pound player. The problem is, when you play well and there's teams after you've paid that tax, he's ultimately going to live or die by that 72 price tag. Will he justify it? I don't know. But I think we've seen a reaction. It's been a turbulent couple. You know, it's been a turbulent year for him. He's lost, like anyone, you would lose your confidence because you're adapting. He's still adapting to the Prem and the culture shock, which he said. You know, he's been in a turbulent team with 3 different managers and underperforming collective teams, and the tactics haven't been good. There's been many cocktails. You know, obviously there's been times he's just not pulled it out and played well enough. I do think the main thing is he lost his confidence. And obviously there's the tactical point of view, you know, right back, and, you know, not having a consistent right back has not allowed him to have any chemistry on that side. But he's definitely been a good player. He's shown it against United in that game. He's shown it yesterday. He's shown in glimpses he's a good ball carrier. He's improved massively defensively. Arteta was onto him about that. He's improved defensively. He's deciding games. He's up there for goals and assists. You know, we want to see. It remains to be seen if he'll be all sort of Mo Salah or Mane and things, but I definitely think he can stand up to be counted, and I've been very impressed with Pepe. Pepe looks more confident in himself. He's got more belief. The one thing we want to do now is make it the Pepe show, because if I'm honest, you know, you was bought for 70 million, regardless of what I said. You know, you and Xhaka should be a non-debatable on that right flank for Arteta. But he probably will play Xhaka there ahead of you at a time. You know, there's rotation and things like that. The same goes for Nelson. I'm really impressed with Pepe. He played a central part in both of the goals. Got an assist and, you know, passed it to Tierney for Tierney to play it. He relieved the pressure very well. There's still a lot that Pepe can improve. You know, there's still a lot he needs to do. But I think he really is a decent player, and he's going to